Warning. The following content is intended for immature audiences only. The opinions of these two fine gentlemen should not be taken seriously at all.
The JTS 51 Podcast. Introducing your hosts, JT and Sai.
Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the JTS 51 podcast. Introduce myself, my name is JT. You should really know this by now because it's been long enough. It has been long enough, to be honest with you. And my co-host, as always, the legendary Sai. Sai, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not so bad, not so bad. Speaking of our names, it's like when you meet somebody drunk in a pub, isn't it? And then you meet them on the second date or something. You're like, do I need to ask their name? Because I've definitely forgotten it. Do you remember that?
That has happened to me a few times, right? And I learned a trick. Okay, so it's been awkward situations, right, where obviously you forget someone's name. You'd be like, oh, hi. And they're like, oh, I haven't seen you for ages. How you doing? You're like, oh, yeah, I know it's been ages. How are you? And then you're thinking, fuck. What's this person's name? What's your name? And then you're racking your head, right? I saw a video online ages ago and I've used it once or twice. So it does involve you saying, sorry, what was your name? They will say their name. And it seems really rude, right? But then you say, no, sorry, your surname. And then they will say their surname, but then they'll be like, oh, they remember my name, but, forgot my surname. So there's a life hack for you out there. If you ever forget someone's name, ask them what their name is. I know that sounds really stupid what I just said, but ask them what their name is. And as soon as they say their name, just say, no, sorry, your surname. I already know what your name is, blah. But
yeah. See, this is my one. This is my hack. So this was from when I was much younger and used to be like drunk in a pub. Maybe you'd meet somebody and try and go out on a date or something. Yeah. While you're in the pub, just try and remember when you're taking down their number, you just go, oh, could you just put in your name and your number here for us? Yeah. And then when you wake up in the morning and completely can't remember anything, you just look at the last entry on your phone and you're like, got it.
Great point. The only thing is,
two hacks for you.
The only thing is they might put their number in and just give you back and just assuming you already know their name.
Yeah, but you're drunk at that stage and you can get away with saying, I didn't catch your name because you're both drunk. It's much harder when you're sober.
Absolutely. I think there's ways around it now. You can obviously, if they give you their number, you can go on WhatsApp, right? And you can click on their profile and normally it'll say their name. The only time that doesn't work is when fucking idiots will put some, instead of their name, they'll put a message or something like that. Live, laugh, love. No, just say your fucking name. What's wrong with you? Twat.
Yeah, anything will do. Anything will do. Oh no, I was saying just a minute ago, wasn't I, that how hot it is at the minute. I am roasting, mate.
It's a bit hot, mate. It's a bit hot.
For any of you that live in sensible countries with sensible seasons, it is ridiculous in the UK. I'm sure we've said it on a previous podcast. You wake up in the morning, it'll be snowing. By lunchtime, raining. Afternoon, 30 degrees, which is what we're in at the moment.
That's it.
We did suffer a little glitch on this show, didn't we? Just a minute ago. I think it was my router overheating. My router doesn't like this weather either.
It doesn't. No, it's just like, what is this heat? No, it's ridiculous. So, did you have the trouble of bloody ants yesterday? Everywhere.
Oh, yeah, do you know what? I don't notice how many ant holes there are everywhere. Yeah, ant holes. Try and say that 3 times fast without it sounding rude. But I took my little one over the park to play some football. They were attacking us. What are we doing?
I don't know. Do you know what? It's weird, isn't it? Especially when they start growing wings. I'm like,
yep, mental.
Fucking hell, that is disgusting. And they have. I was thinking about this yesterday, right? So ants, they come out the ground because it's too hot, right? They suddenly grow wings. And then they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're flying around everywhere. Obviously, they've lived all their lives on the ground, right? So they're like, oh yeah, this is amazing. We know everything. And then as soon as they fucking fly up, they're like, whoa, what's this magical place? And they'll start flying into your ears, your nose, your mouth. Oh my God, it's disgusting. Fucking violated by ants, flying ants.
Imagine the ants that aren't the flying ones and they just turn around and Bob's flying off and they're like, what the hell has he just eaten? I want some of that.
Bob, where are you going? Bob. Where'd you get the wings from?
Imagine being at work, for years and years and years, and then suddenly Doris grows wings and flies out the window. You're like, what's going on?
It's like someone getting a promotion, isn't it? You worked with them all these years, they get a promotion, and you're just standing there thinking, fucking hell, how do I do that? You know what I mean? Why did I get the promotion? Right, God's sake. I'll tell you what, it was really bad, actually. So yesterday, I had a few guests around, and they came around in the evening. Obviously, a hot day. I'm working in the office, right? So yesterday, I didn't notice it at all. But then, as soon as I left my my office, I was driving down, and on my windscreen, I could see a spider's just gone crazy on these flying ants. A spider's obviously come down from a tree, and it's made a web, and it's caught 4 of these ants. I didn't notice it as soon as I drove off, but in the middle of my drive, I saw this spider going to town on these stuck ants on the web. and there's obviously the one with the wings. I was like, oh my God, that's mad. I feel like David Attenborough right now just watching this. And then, I got home, realised we had some guests, and then I'm sitting there, we're having a cold drink because it's a hot day. I look to my windowsill and I see, no word of a lie, like 100 ants walking across my windowsill, my white PVC windowsill, right? I'm just seeing them run in a line. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that is fucking disgusting. Obviously, they've got in through the window. There might be some cracks that they've walked in from. Obviously, they're trying to escape the heat. So
what, on the inside of
on
the
the
window,
inside, so in my living room, on my front living room, right? And then so I'm trying to keep my composure. My guests are telling me this really funny story that happened to them recently. I keep looking away at that window, so I'm thinking, oh my god, this is disgusting. Like, they're looking back at the guests, like laughing, haha, not taking anything in. I don't even know if it was a funny story. Then I was like, I need to sort this out. This is fucking disgusting. So I ran out the room, spoke to my dad. I said, Dad, there's loads of ants in the front room. He's like, oh my god, how do they get in? I said, it's a hot day. They're escaping the heat, whatever. He goes, have you got any ant killer or anything like that? I said, yeah, I think I've got some. So I ran to the back, found some, ran back in. Now it was a case of, right, now how do I navigate through the room with this massive ant killer spray in my hand, loads of tissues in my other hand? Like, if I walk in, this is going to be super suspicious, and everyone's having a good time. They're all laughing and joking. Yeah. Then I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to have to own up to it. I walked in and I said, guys, I'm so sorry. I've just noticed we've got some ants here. Let me just get rid of this. Why don't you guys all go into the other room, the other living room, right? They're like, no, it should be fine. It should be okay. I was like, okay, you're cool. I started spraying the shit out of these ants, right? It felt like Terminator, man. Just like literally go to town on these ants.
Were you making the noises like, pew, pew, pew? No.
It's like, die. Ah. And
I forget sometimes we're supposed to be adults. Sorry.
Absolutely not, mate. Oh, no way. But yeah, I started spraying the ants and obviously watching their demise, and then I think the guests thought better because once they started breathing in the poison, they're like, yeah, we better move. So luckily they all moved. I cleaned up, and then I haven't seen them again. But today again they're flying around. I was just like, oh my god. And then I heard on the news it was National Ant Day yesterday, so it makes a lot Flying Ant Day or something like that. So
well, at least they've got a day.
Yeah, okay. They've got a day for everything. Do you know what I mean?
Literally everything. Yeah. It's like somebody's looked out their window. It's like we haven't got anything in the calendar. What's this? Oh, there's an ant. It's Ant Day.
Yeah, just looking at any ideas, guys. Like there's a whole committee of people, obviously. Yeah, we've got a spare day here. What does anyone got anything to dedicate this day to? Spaghetti, toast. How about National Toast Day? Oh yeah, Ant Day. Let's do Ant Day. Yeah, they don't get enough credit. When's National Cockroach Day, eh? That's all I'm going to say.
That's when the apocalypse happens, isn't it? they get eternity. They inherit
the earth. They can live through anything, right? Yeah, they can live through anything. Oh my god. They said, like, even if there was like a nuclear blast on Earth and it killed everyone, cockroaches will still survive. And I'm like, wow, that's actually incredible. Like,
definitely built for something. Yeah,
100%. That's not normal.
I bet it's the slow day in the winter, isn't it? Like they look out the window because nothing really happens in like the autumn, winter. Squirrel Day.
Yeah.
Falling leaves from the tree day.
Chestnut Day. Yeah. Conker Day next Tuesday.
Conker Day. Yeah, that's Conker a proper day. I loved conkers as a kid.
Do you know what? I remember when I first heard about it. I was like, what? Like, you do what with what? Conkers from a tree? What'd you do with them? And people were like, yeah, you do this. I was like, what? I don't understand. This is crazy. But there's not, like, until you actually do it yourself, you start playing with conkers, it's not fun. In theory, it sounds really stupid, but yeah, until you actually do it yourself. Oh my god.
What's funny is though, saying that, I don't think like the young kids today have any idea about playing conkers.
No. Absolutely not. No.
For anyone that's not played conkers before, basically this was before tech, so you had to have like the shoelace. You get a conker, drill a hole in the middle of it, tie it onto the end of a shoelace, and then you smash that. Take turns smashing the conkers against each other, and the first one to break loses. Did you have the thing in your school though where you had the kids that would like try and cheat the system by like baking them in the oven, soaking them in vinegar, all of that's like varnishing them all? No. Oh, there you go. It wasn't
a serious sport in my school. It was literally pick it up. If there's a hole in it, then you're lucky. Otherwise, you'll have to discard it as normal. But yeah, it's just, that is proper prep work, mate.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yep. So yeah, but there was like loads of kids that would do it. The best one that I saw though, this kid had obviously you don't know when you first rock up to the game, and then somebody just starts repeatedly winning, and like the conker just never breaks. And then this one kid, he found a way of like you get a conker, he'd like cut it in half, bore out the middle, fill it with cement, super glue the shell back on, and obviously it had a hole in the middle. So when he cracked the other people's conkers, he was literally smashing them with a piece of concrete.
Oh my God!
With the shell of a conker on it, and he went on like a month's winning streak, and then everybody at the end of it found out, and they're like, oh man.
Mate, in my head, I was just thinking, like, you know, like a montage from a movie when you got these scientific kind of stories where you've got a scientist in a lab, he's just trying to figure out the best kind of like formula for a conker. That's what just ran through my head. Surely it's not that serious, you know what I mean?
It was in my school. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Like most kids were content with like baking them, but yeah, this kid took it to a new level.
Fucking hell. Cheating scandal in the conker game. My God, that's
I know. When you said montage, I thought you were talking about like some kid turns up on his first day, he's a little bit weedy with this little skinny conker, and then you have the like, you know, the 80s like build up music, champion music. By the end of it, he's built some guns, he's got this winning conker, and everyone's like hailing him on their shoulders.
In my head, it was more like, you know, you got a nerdy kid with a science lab coat, and he's got his goggles on, and he's writing all these formulas down. He's got a few test conkers, and he's testing them one by one. He's picked the best one. That's what ran through my head. Watched too many bloody movies, mate. Oh my word, yeah. But no, all good. Did you? I heard you went to the pub again last week.
Oh yeah. Excuse me, I was like. Oh yeah, I texted you earlier, didn't I? Just fuck's sake, Nova.
Yeah. I was like, I thought it was a typo at first. I was like, you've got to explain this on the pod, mate. Go for it.
Well, you do get that sometimes, don't you? You type like I do. I just type quickly, like I think you said before, 2 thumbs and stuff, and I don't always read back what I've written. Yeah. And sometimes I've looked over the messages I send you, and I'm like, there's just a random word in the middle of the sentence. I'm like, I'm glad you get what I'm talking about, because sometimes I read it back like, I don't know what I've written. I'm glad you decoded it.
No, I mean, you've been mates for too long now, mate, so I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, it's just it is hilarious sometimes, honestly. My dad's been a victim of an autocorrect that's gone wrong a few times, so he's always panicked. Thank God WhatsApp's got like an edit button now.
Yes, as long as you can go back in.
Yeah, as long as you do it within the first 8 minutes, you can edit your message. But yeah, my God, that's save so much embarrassment.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, fuck's sake, Nova.
Yeah, right. Brilliant. Here we go.
So, you know, last week I was telling you the story about the guy with the weird food combinations and putting stuff in sandwiches.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. For those of you that missed it, go back and have a listen.
Yeah, pause this. Wild. Pause this now. Go back to the last episode, listen to that, come back to this, okay? Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. So, me being me, I thought I'd go back to the same pub because it was funny the first time, so why wouldn't you go back, right? So, my missus and I went back this week, and just to explain the pub layout, it's sort of an older pub, and it's sort of split up into little sections, right? And we were looking for somewhere to sit, and it was quite busy, you know, it's like straight after work. I'm sounding like an alcoholic because I've been twice in a row, but I only drink. Well, it's funny, actually. You know, I was telling you last week about ordering the Coke and then them saying Pepsi.
Pepsi, okay.
I thought I'd do it again just to be annoyed. Yeah, can I have a Coke? And the same person that served me just went,
we've only got Pepsi, is that okay?
I'm such a child. Anyway,
you got to do that every time you go in now. I'm sorry, sir. Every time you go in, you got to do it. It's just one of those things. It's happened.
I'd get the eye roll off my missus, but yeah, it is funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, we were looking for somewhere to sit because it was quite busy in there, and there was a room sort of at the back, and there was like 3 women in there. I don't know, about 8 kids, something like that. But the kids weren't really being a problem, so we kind of sat down. And but this one girl kept getting up from the table. She must have been like 5, 6, something like that. Doesn't bother me because I've got kids of my own, and she wasn't really being a problem. She was just getting up and running around a little bit, but she wasn't screaming or anything like that, and I don't really care. Like I said, I've got
just
kids
kid
of my
stuff, usual kid stuff. Yeah.
But in the, you know, you get used to the background noise in pubs, and you can sort of hear people talking a bit, murmuring, something like that. You know, it's a little bit sort of hustle bustle, but it's all fine. Just suddenly out of nowhere, all this woman shouted was, "Fuck's sake, Nova!"
Oh my God!
Just at the top of her voice. Everybody in the room sort of looked
She's
around.
Enough.
Yeah, exactly. And this kid was tiny, as I say. And we'd only been sitting there for a couple of minutes. I couldn't stop laughing. My missus was just like, we've got to move. Move.
Horrified. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So we kind of like went, let's just go see if it's made some random excuse for why we were getting up. Let's just go and order something at the bar, like they cared what we were thinking. Anyway,
no, of course, but you just want to be polite, innit? Make sure like you're not moving because of her. Just make up anything.
Exactly. Like hide the fact that I'm laughing. My missus wants to move. Anyway, so we looked round the corner, and by round the corner, I mean like there was a proper wall divide.
Okay.
There was a table that became free in there, so we sat in there, and I kid you not, within about 3 minutes, again, I just heard, "Fuck's sake, Nova!"
Oh my God.
It just made me laugh, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, the evening went on, and since that point, whenever my missus and I just do something wrong, like I don't know, I forget to load the dishwasher, or she forgets to do something, we're just like, fuck's sake, Nova.
It's become a thing. It's become a thing. Absolutely, yeah. I'll do the same thing with my missus, mate. Like a few iconic things where you either hear something like you did, or you see something, and it just becomes an everyday part of life. When something goes wrong, when something goes right, you know, when, it is brilliant. Just a few things, so Nova was a dog, yeah.
No, Nova was a 5 or 6 year old girl.
Who calls that kid Nova?
I don't know.
That's terrible.
Right, I don't want to diss any Novas that are out there.
All right,
But just to
Supernova.
be clear, I don't know if this is a name like a foreign name that just we don't hear in England very often.
Maybe,
But the first thing I thought about when I heard a Nova was like the car, a Nova. It's like a little
Vauxhall
hatchback.
Nova, no?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, car. And
Yeah.
but when I grew up, it was Nova's Metros. I can't remember what the other one was, but all the kids used to, because they were cheap, you put some hubcaps on it, put a Go Faster stripe on the side, and then screw a spoiler into the back, and that was your mod in your car, right?
That's it, mate. That gives you extra 10 brake horsepower. You know what I mean?
It must do.
That sticker,
Hey?
trust me, extra 10.
It would be called a Go Faster stripe if it didn't make you go faster, right?
That's just false advertising. You know what I mean?
Right. But yeah, no, it got me because I was thinking afterwards exactly what you thought, right? So if you're going to call somebody like a name, you want it to be impressive, like you say, like a Porsche or a Mercedes, or I don't think I've ever heard of Ferrari, but maybe Ferraris. I don't know.
You never know. You never know, yeah.
But yeah, I don't expect to hear Novas and Metros. So,
Fuck's sake, Metro.
but yeah, so that's the first thing I thought of. But it's funny actually because, and I don't mean to judge, like if I lived up in like Chelsea or somewhere like that, you would expect to hear the Mercedes and the Porsches, wouldn't you? You know where I live, mate. Nova's probably about right.
All right, cool, fair enough. All right, I get that, no problem. Oh man, you go there next week, someone's gonna be shouting, "Shut up, Clio!"
I know. Not to diss any cars.
No, of course not. Yeah, no disrespect to the Novas and.
I'm surprised I'm not called Skoda. Just to put it.
Oh my word!
But the funny thing was,
crazy.
just to finish this story off, you know, what we said before, like, you know, we're really lucky in the sense we can work from home.
Yeah, of course.
A couple of days after that, well, because I recognised the woman because she does the same school run that I do. I see her walking up and down.
Right.
I don't know her, but I've seen her and I recognise her. Yeah. And like I say, a couple of days afterwards, I was sitting upstairs, you know, working away, and all I hear from across the road was, "Fuck's sake, Nova!" And I looked out the window.
Way. Same lady.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, I'm beginning to think the kid is called Fuck's sake Nova now.
I think that's the name. I think that's the full name. Yeah, fuck is like the first name.
Yeah.
Middle name's Sake. The surname is Nova. So
Yeah.
she's just calling her daughter.
You know, you know, like when your parents tell you off and they say your whole name because you know you're in trouble. Maybe that's her whole name.
maybe that. Bloody hell, that's incredible. Imagine thinking you're at home, you're safe. That was only at the pub, and then you hear that in the background. You're probably thinking like, my mind's gone crazy here. There's no way I heard that. You know what I mean? From the other night, that's crazy.
It came out of nowhere as well. Like I would, like, you know, when you're working and you sort of switched off, you're in your thing, and then something just sort of knocks you straight out of it, and you're like, "Oh, what's going on over here?" Yeah, that's what it was.
Nova must be a very naughty kid for a parent to actually lose it like that a few times. Do you know what I mean? That's not the first time she said that. So, bloody hell, she's probably lost it. Absolutely lost it at the kid. Oh,
yeah.
God.
But the following lines, it sounds like I was earwigging out the window, but obviously I've explained that it's hot, so I've got the windows and stuff open, right?
Of course, yeah.
And but the following bit was to that story was she, you know, the fuck's sake Nova, and then it was, well, you broke it, don't complain at me. So this kid, I don't know, and she had a little scooter thing. That's all I could really see. I'm a bit short sighted. That's kind of what I made out. But yeah, I don't even know what the problem was. The kid was moaning.
Oh no, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
So yeah, I think that's taken it. It used to be the other kid that was screaming up and down the road. Oh, the fun sucker. Now we've got fuck's sake Nova.
Well, there you go. You're gonna have a few gang of them soon.
I know. Hey, they're building a posse.
That's it. Oh my god, little rascals running around. Oh man. So I think the whole nation right now, by the time everyone listens to this, will know what happened in the final on the weekend. The whole nation's in doom and gloom, mate.
We won, didn't we?
We won at being the second best team, yeah. I think. Yeah.
We were the first loser. We'll take it.
We were the best loser, the absolute best one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it didn't come home, guys. Unfortunately, obviously everyone knows this by now, but yeah, it didn't come home. We had high hopes. Well, some of us had high hopes.
Yep.
Some of us knew it was a bit of a tall order, but you got to be in it to win it. So and we were in the final, just didn't come home, just didn't happen. But yeah, I mean, did you feel like? Because I just, because I'm around so many people in the office, it just felt really glum, like really, really glum in the office. Like normally it's quite, compared to last week when it was like, hustling and bustling, people were joyous and people were laughing, joking, rating our chances. This week, pure silence. It just felt like everyone was in a bit of a mood. And that's what football does. It does it to me, mate. Honestly, on a normal, during the normal season, if Villa play badly and we lose, right, I'm in a funk for a few days. I'm genuinely in a funk for a few days. When I was a kid, it used to affect my whole week, which is quite bad. So if we lost on the weekend, I knew my whole week was going to be crap. But now I've grown older, I've kind of like learned how to push into one side and carry on with life as normal. Maybe let it affect you for one day, but not the whole week. So I've gotten better at it. But I just felt like the whole nation was in a bit of doom and gloom this week. Yeah, it didn't come home, mate. Did not come home.
No, it is the what do they call that thing when you watch a TV series and then it comes to an end and it's sort of that sort of bluesy sort of feeling, isn't it? Where like the sort of down low feeling. It's sort of that, wasn't it? Because the whole nation was behind the England team for the longest time. We've had a cruddy England team, and for the last 8 years, I know everyone's got their opinions on Southgate, but from what we had to where we were, it's a big achievement. Yeah, which is why people's expectations were high. Yeah, I think if we'd gone into this with our old reputation, I don't think anyone would have been. Yeah, they would have been down, but I don't think they would have been that bothered. But the fact that we have got good players, I don't care what anybody says, a decent coach, everybody was just like, oh, come on, we had a good chance. We had a great chance. In fact, I mean, I know everybody says it's fine margins, and I know the sort of Spanish team had a few attempts on our go, and they did decently. But, that header off the line, I mean, honestly. Yeah, at the edge,
it was bloody close, mate. It was bloody close. Well, I'll say that. It wasn't that close.
No, it wasn't.
But, you know what it is? I think... going back to Southgate, so obviously we lost the final, and then a few days later, Southgate kind of, as expected, said he's going to step down. Yep. He's been with the club, been in charge of the country national team for 8 years. He's done well. I will say he's done well, and the shocking stat you gave me last week, mate, where you said he's statistically one of England's best managers, or if not the best manager, apart from Sir Ramsey, who won it in '66. That's mad to me, absolutely mad. I thought it was fake news at first point, but yeah, what it is that Southgate's come in at a time when the England team kind of needed him, the nation kind of needed him. Yeah, he's got everyone together. He's united everyone, which is amazing. Got rid of some of the players that weren't good enough, and now he's got this golden generation of players that are very, very good players. Like, they're amazing players for the clubs. He's possibly the strongest team I've ever seen in terms of every position. We've got excellent players, even better than the golden generation, as they said back in 2006, when you had like the likes of, like, say, Beckham, Lampard, Gerrard, all them kind of players. Yeah. John Terry, Rio Ferdinand, and everyone like that. So for me, this is a massive, massive opportunity that's been missed, unfortunately. I think Southgate's taken us as far as he could take us, to be fair. Now the next level is what we need to go. He's done really well putting the foundations in. Yep. Now it's up to the next manager to elevate us to the next level. So, yeah, he's gone. He's called it a day. He's been 8 years in the job, but he has been making £5 million a year. So, he's got a nice little pay out of that.
It's not a chump change, is it?
No, it's not. Oh man, Southgate, like, bloody hell, $5 million a year. That's incredible. So, yeah, he's done well. It could have done better, but getting to 2 finals speaks for itself. I think where people get pissed off, people like me actually get pissed off, is that I know that we could have won those finals. It wasn't like we were blown away completely, we didn't deserve to be there or anything like that. Last final that we were in the Euros against Italy, we were lost on penalties, so that was we shouldn't have actually got to penalties. That was one of the worst Italy teams in recent generations, so we should have had the game finished off in the first 90 minutes. This game looked like Southgate was actually banking on going to penalties, extra time and penalties. So it was just one of those things where you thought you can grind it out. But I think what people are looking for in the next manager is to just take us up to the next level, mate, where we go on the front foot, we play attacking football, we're not like defensive first as Gareth Southgate has known all his career. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think right now there's by the time our listeners listen to this, they might have already made an appointment. But for me, I think the most outstanding candidate is probably, and this will probably not be everyone's cup of tea, but there's a guy called Graham Potter who played amazing football at Brighton. Left to go to Chelsea. Chelsea's an absolute shit show. Sorry for any Chelsea fans, but Chelsea is an absolute shit show. He didn't do well there. He didn't do too badly, but he didn't do too well.
Yep.
But because the owner's a crazy bastard, like it's like near enough impossible for anyone to be successful there at the minute. He's off, so he got sacked, and now he's sitting on 200k a week until October. So he's just waiting for the England job. And we've got a few other candidates. We've got Eddie Howe at Newcastle, great English manager. He's done really, really decent things at Newcastle, but again, he's in a job, so it's very hard for him to leave.
Yep.
And then you got a few shots for Jurgen Klopp, who just left Liverpool because he said he's tired and he wants to spend time with his wife. But everyone seems to think why would he want to come to the England national job? Do you know what I mean? He just said he's taking time off. Why is everyone trying to bring him back? I don't know. He might not do it himself. So yeah, let's see, mate. Let's see what happens. By the time this pod comes out, someone probably might have been appointed, but for me, I think the guy that I would employ is Graham Potter, because he plays amazing attacking football, and with this group of this young squad, I think he can do amazing things. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I guess the difference was it Klopp you said that's gone to spend time with his wife. Yeah, I guess the difference there is that if you're managing a league team. Yeah. That is a full calendar every weekend. Well, apart from the summer break, every weekend you're playing a game. So that's your weekends done for, home and away. Plus, if you get promoted, you pay the international games. Plus, you're training through the weeks. At least with the England squad, I'm sure there's a ridiculous amount of admin that goes with it. But your games are limited. You
don't have to do much, mate. Yeah, it is one of those where you don't have to travel and train every day at all. Like, it's not like you put it. Yeah, it's actually spot on. As a Premier League manager, you are basically, it's a 7-day a week job. Do you know what I mean? You're training your players throughout the week, preparing them for games. Saturday, Sunday, you're playing your games. Sometimes you're playing your games on a Wednesday, Thursday, depending on what competition you're in. So twice a week, and you're flying off all up and down the country. You're flying into Europe. That is a full-time job. That is a 7-day, sometimes a week job. Whereas with the internationals, it's like, okay, every now and then, every 1 or 2 months, you got to pick a squad. You got to play a qualifier. You got to fly away for a little tournament, little minor things like that. So it's not as intrusive as a normal Premier League job. I always thought that people wanted an English manager, but I think people will make an exception for Jurgen Klopp because he's almost like an honorary Englishman, because he's an honorary Scouse. I know that he's a Scouse for life now because he managed Liverpool and they love him. He's a legend. But I'm pretty sure people will be happy with him. I always thought he might manage the German national team one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they want him, then 100%. I'd say he'd be the best candidate. But a lot of people are saying let's promote an Englishman for the job, because most nations do that. So France do it, Germany do it, Spain do it. So I can see both cases.
Yeah, I guess, and you look at our history of foreign managers.
It's not been great.
We haven't done great. Do you know, that's the one thing I will say, not to give, we want to give some props to Gareth Southgate, but, as a casual observer, I mean, I know I enjoy the games and stuff, and I get wrapped up in the moment like most people do. But, for the last... Before Gareth, it seems that we turned into a little bit of a laughing stock to some degree. At least now he's brought back that a little bit of all teams are getting a bit nervous about playing England. Everybody pokes fun at us. But, when you got a team that's made the final twice, semi-final, quarter-final in the last 4 competitions, suddenly teams, even the big teams, are going, oh, this is going to be a tough game. Not like before. It's like, whatever, just poke a bit of fun and off they go, And you want those nerves, because if you go into a game against an opposition and you're going to beat them, or we should definitely beat this team. It's all in your head, isn't it? If you go into the game and you're like, oh, I don't know about this, actually, that might be a bit of a stretch. Suddenly, psychologically, the players may be playing a bit more defensive. Like the Spanish at the moment, they don't care. They're just going to run at everybody. Man. They're on top of the world. They're just going to, don't care who you are. But if you're a team a little bit lower down the table, you're like, we've got to be careful of this Spanish, and at least that's sort of coming back into the English team. I think
so. All right, I've given Southgate his props here. Now let me turn into a bit of a nasty bastard.
Here we go. It's where it gets juicy, right?
So look, I'll give him his props. I'll give him his flowers. Yeah, he's done well. But now I'm now thinking of it with my logical head, and this is what I was saying in the last previous podcast. We've had the easiest run ever to a final
100%,
I can ever think of. Right, that is the easiest run any top team has ever had to a final, avoiding teams like Germany, France, Portugal. We've had Spain in the final.
Just to jump in on that for people that, because I'm not a big football guy, so also for people that are not football people, the Spanish, the Italians, the French, the Germans, these are all World Cup and European Cup winning teams. So if you get those in a draw, it's what I was saying. These are the tough teams that will beat you, or they'll take it to penalties, and they are not easy teams. And to just outline how good Spain were, they beat all of them.
That's right.
And on the other side of the table, England had the softest team. Sorry, I just wanted to jump in there.
No, you're absolutely spot on, mate. Who did we have? Serbia, Slovenia, Slovakia. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we had countries like this. Is ridiculous. So we had Netherlands in the semi, and it's just bloody hell. Like, how easy do you want it? Like, that's ridiculous. And
I mean, they're not easy teams, but compared to the other side of the table, they're like leagues apart.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not easy teams in the slightest, but like we had the easiest run. Like, compare that to any other team that's like a top team. Like, we've had the easiest run. We've had favourites knocking each other out in the other part of the draw. Yeah. So you've had Italy knocking out. You had Spain knocking out Germany. Obviously, that is a final. That was worthy of a final themselves, right? Yeah. You knocked them out. Then you had them knock out France. Then you had them. You had Portugal. They were looking decent as well. They got knocked out. Like, it's crazy. The favourable draw that we had is mad, and that's where Southgate had the luck, right? He had the luck of the draw, and the fact that we made it to the final was the minimal. Like, that should have been the minimal expectation because of what we had. So, and we didn't even do that well with these games. So this is why I'm saying. This is why I'm saying I'm glad Southgate is gone. We didn't do well in these games, mate. If we were, it's one thing to have an easy couple of draws and we win them, fine, no problem, and we get to the final. If we've played shit like we have during Southgate's tenure at this tournament, we're literally scraping through, like begging to get into the final. Do you know what I mean? It's been like last minute goals. It's been penalties, and it's just shocking, mate. It's shocking. That's why I'm kind of glad Southgate's gone, and I'm glad he's gone on a high. He's gone on his own terms. He's not been sacked. He's not been kicked. You know what I mean? He's gone. He said, "Look, I've taken England as far as I can. It's time for someone better to come in and do better than me," which is fair enough, and that's why I give him his props. But I'm also glad he's gone, mate, to be honest, for his own sanity. Well,
that as well. And now it's make or break for the next manager, isn't it? Because they can't. Everybody has kind of got on Gareth Southgate's back a little bit for us not winning, but the next manager has to do better, or everyone's going to go, so why were we picking on Southgate quite as much?
This is the thing. That's a great point, and I just think with a new manager coming in, I think people will give him a little bit of leeway. So basically, they'll give him time. It's not going to be a case of, and I don't think most people I've spoken to don't think this way, but it's not going to be a case of, right, if the next manager comes in and he doesn't win the World Cup, it's a failure. That's not what it is.
Definitely not.
Southgate had 8 years to build this team to where it is, and to kind of sculpt it into the way he wanted. The next manager will definitely get time. He'll get 2 years to the World Cup now, so 2024 now. 2026 will be the World Cup. He's got 2 years to get his squad, get the players he wants in, train them the way he wants, and then boom, let him go. And people give him a chance. People absolutely give whoever it is a chance. And even if we don't win the next World Cup, which probably won't happen anyway, I don't think anyone will be angry. It's just a case of, right, we're restarting again. We've got the foundations in place. Let's crack on. Give the new guy some time.
Do you know what? Again, just on Southgate, I have to say, very thoughtful in the time that he's left, because he's given whoever's making the decision enough time to really analyse the managers, see who's out there and stuff, and they've got the maximum amount of time to get to the squad, build them back up, and as you say, just run with it. It's not like he left halfway through the qualifiers or something like that. They've got the maximum time to step in and really sort of understand, and especially as we're doing the qualifiers and stuff next year.
So they'll actually start. I think there's like a tournament that comes up that they started called the Nations League. Which is a little mini tournament for Euro again, for like the European teams again. So I think what will happen is we're straight after the tournament. I don't think they'll have anyone in place the next time England play, which will be in September. I think they'll have someone interim in place just on a short-term basis, like just to tick us over, and then after that they'll probably make a formal announcement and get someone in. So they've got a few months to make their decision. FA they've got a few months to pick the right man, do the interviews, all that kind of stuff, and And if it is someone going to be like Eddie Howe, who's the current Newcastle manager at the time of speaking, they can sort out a financial compensation package to Newcastle, saying, "Look, we want to take your manager. Here's a we're all willing to offer." So yeah, let's see. Hopefully they get the right man, and hopefully it will come home in 2026.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
Whoever the next manager is, can we get them to stop Pickford just hoofing the ball down the pitch? For anyone that's not following English football, right, I think our goalkeeper's great. He's great shot stopper. He's great at he knows what he wants from the defence. Yeah, he's saved us on so many occasions. But all he seems to do is just when he's got the ball, just hoof it forward. And it would be fine if we had players at the front that were always winning it. But in that game against Spain, like, he'd hoof it forward, we'd get a head on it, and then they'd have it. And I thought, what did we had like 30% possession or something ridiculous like that.
34% possession in a final.
Yes. And it would be fine if we had another generation of footballers back, and we had people like was it Crouch, who was like 6 foot plus in to win those heads.
Crouch's head. Yeah,
you're
course,
fine, but we don't have that.
No, we don't. And the funny thing is, like, Spain are a team of midgets, so it's like, do you know what I mean? It's mad. Like, if you look at Spain's teams, they're all like 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". There's only 1 or 2 players that are like above, like, maybe touching 6 foot or 6'1". Yeah, and they just seem to win everything. You know, when Pickford was kicking it up there, you know what it is as well. I do feel for Pickford. So it's a case of when we played that game. If you look at any other game, basically we'll do patient build up at the back. So Pickford gets the ball, keeps it calm, pass it to his centre backs or his left back and right back. Whereas this game, it was a case of, I need to get this ball up and out of here. I don't want to, like, he's panicking. Yep. He's just like, I'm kicking the shit out of this ball as far as I can. Aim for Bellingham, aim for Kane. Okay. And we're just losing the ball, mate. And he's kicking it on his weak foot, so it's going out of play. It's going for a throw in. Yeah. That's terrible, because that's giving possession straight back to Spain. Literally no respite. So yeah, the next manager. So this is why I was saying Graham Potter. Graham Potter is fantastic at building the game up from the back. So his game is based upon possession. Give the goalie the ball, give it to him, to his feet, make him pass to the centre back. Centre backs will pass on to the left back, right back. Midfielders will drop deep. They'll play a 1-2. Strikers in, play the ball in direct, and he's gone. Yeah. That's why I really want Graham Potter in, because his Brighton team played amazing football. So I don't know if he's that good that he'll stop Pickford from lumping the ball forward, but. Let's see, mate.
Yeah, exactly. Or just let somebody else take. Just you've got 4 players in front of you. Just pick one of them. Or just mix it up a little bit. Maybe every 4th time, lob it down there. Just limit it.
Just don't lob it out. Oh, just leave it. Jordan. Just stop lobbing it up, man.
He had all the penalty names on his water bottle. Maybe he should, like, each penalty time, he should have like 1 to like 50 or something down there. Right, this is kick number 1. Right, I'm going to pass it there. Kick number 2. There. Kick number 4. Right, number 5. I can lob it down there. Woohoo!
Oh my god! The funny thing is, Pickford plays like he's a midfielder. Like
that's what I'm saying.
You know how forward he comes during the game, so you might as well act like a midfielder if you want to do that while playing a goal.
I said that last game, didn't I? Like, Kane was playing so deep and Pickford was playing so far up the field. They might as well have just swapped the players. Yeah,
there was one point actually in the game. I know we're going on a bit, but there was one point in the game where we were actually in the ascendancy. This is after we scored, and it was 1-1 at that point, and Spain were actually retreating. Yeah. They were getting a bit worried, and then we put pressure on, and then Pickford had the ball, and he just lobbed it. He's like halfway up the pitch, and he just lobbed it forward. And at that point, we were putting a lot of pressure on Spain. All he had to do was pick out a pass. Yeah. He just lobbed it forward, went out for a Spain goal kick, and then took like 5 minutes to take the goal kick. All the momentum gone. I was like, Jordan, why did you do that, man? God.
Which would make sense if he was like Beckham. Right, so Beckham with his pinpoint accuracy passes, right?
Pinpoint, amazing.
If he could do that, then you wouldn't have such a problem, because they would literally be landing like a couple of yards in front of the player or in front of where they would like literally pick it out. But it's not. It's just like a hit and hope. I don't think it's quite that, but it just felt like that.
Yeah, no, it really is, mate. It really is. I was going to say, speaking about what Gareth has done, I think this ties into your point that you made earlier, so I think we were referring back to Rio Ferdinand, weren't we, when you were talking about England?
Oh, yeah, before this pod, I think we were talking about Rio Ferdinand. You put me onto this. There's a really good podcast out there that you put me onto, just because I don't know bugger all about football. You said, have a watch of this. It's a good introduction to it. And it's, what's it called? Because I can't remember.
I think the rest is football. So
that's it.
Not to advertise, give free publicity to a rival podcast.
Oh, they need it. Yeah, they need it.
Wish a rival rival.
We're promoting them. Yeah, this little podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they need this. Yeah,
from a couple of players, English players that nobody's ever heard of, right?
fantastic podcast from a guy who's coming up in the game. You know, he's quite new. His name is Gary Lineker.
Yep.
So Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer, Mickey Richards, great podcast.
Oh, your dad's favourite player, Alan Shearer. He's still
Alan
playing.
Shearer, yeah, he's still playing. Yeah. So basically, they do a podcast and they've been doing one daily for the Euros, and I've been glued to it. And I told Si to give it a go. And you were interested to hear that Rio Ferdinand, when he was part of the England setup in 2006, 2008, is that the England team were very cliquey. So what we mean by that is, imagine you've been called up to international duty, and obviously you've got all the best English players at that time. They go for, let's say they go for lunch, right? So this means that Man United players will sit with Man United players only, Arsenal players with Arsenal, Chelsea with Chelsea, you know, and that is how it was. And it was only on the pitch when they would just, like, you know, kind of speak to each other and pass to each other. Whereas, and this is what I say, you know, fair fucks to Southgate, because he's got rid of that culture. It's not cliquey anymore.
Yeah.
Every player gets along with every single player. Doesn't matter what team they play for. You could have a player that's playing for Man United, a player that's playing for Liverpool, you know, fierce rivals, but they get along with each other. They know it's not that serious. It's not like tribalism anymore.
Yeah.
No more cliques. Everyone enjoys each other's company. Everyone knows that when it gets to England, they're all one.
Yeah.
So so fair play to get Southgate for getting rid of that cliquey culture that Rio Ferdinand was talking about. I think he said that as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
He said he's spoken to a few of the lads and they said there's nothing like that anymore. That everyone's in it as a team. And there's no more like, oh, you play for Man United and you play for Man City. We're meant to be fierce rivals, so I'm not talking to you, you bastard.
It's
None of
just
that.
like being back at school, isn't it? It's unbelievable. These players.
All right, mate, how are you?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, most players are like somewhere between 20 and 30, aren't they? I know there are extremes, but it's kind of the rough age. And they are paid literally millions, and you're like, they're acting like children. Like, you don't expect it, because when they stand in front of the cameras, they're super professional.
That's
you
right.
know, they carry themselves well. I know they like lose their patience a little bit out when they're playing, but everybody would when the stakes are that high. But as soon as they're off camera, you know, they're suited and booted, they look great, and then you hear this, they're not talking to each other in the canteen, and you're like, oh Jesus, you know, somebody's put salt on somebody else's food, somebody's, you know,
exactly, do like pranks on each other, exactly. No, and there's none of that. And I've seen it a few times actually, where I've seen you know, like England international players when they're playing in the Premier League for their teams, for their domestic teams, and say one of them fouls the other one, I will actually see them go up to them and pick them up, or have a laugh and apologise if it was rough and that kind of stuff. Whereas before it would be like, no, you're a Mac bastard, I hate you. Or then at England they'll be like, oh yeah, we're all playing as one, yay. It's none of that now. It's like literally, it's like, you know, it is like they're growing up a little bit, they're more matured. I think players have realised it's not that serious and not that deep.
Yeah,
we don't have to hate each other just because we come from different clubs and all that kind of stuff. So fair play to Fegara for that, mate.
Yeah, because the other thing I didn't realise, because I didn't know how bad it was until Rio was talking about this. Maybe other people did, because he was also talking about the club managers restricting the play time or telling their players not to play very well. And he sort of implied that. Maybe I got out of that more than he was actually saying. But he was sort of implying, like, you know, to like restrict their hours, don't play as much, you know, because they wanted to reserve those players for the club side. So you get these like big international games where the whole country wants you to play well, and they're putting in, not because they want to, but they've been told, you know, they're going to lose the big contracts, which is at the club teams, which is their bread and butter at the end of the day, isn't it?
This is it. You know what it is? It's more of a case of, say, for example, a player is playing great for his club, but he's being called up to international duty. Now, back in the day, being called up to international duty was a massive privilege. Like, it's an honour. You don't get paid for it, basically. Your money goes straight to charity, anything that you earn. But it is an annoyance when you say you're playing for your club and you're playing an important game, and then, you know, as soon as that game's over, you've got to fly out to England, which we're not doing great.
Yep.
What the club managers would do, so legendary managers like Sir Alex Ferguson, for example, he would just say, tell the player, he would say, just tell him you're injured. Just tell him you're injured. It's fine. And then you don't have to get called up. So then what they would do, the player would do, is he'll ring up England and say, I know I've been called up, I'm really sorry, I won't be able to make it, I've got a bit of a calf strain, or I've got a bit of a hamstring injury, or you know, I can't make it. Then they don't have to fly out. Now, because it was so cliquey back in the day, I can completely see why some players didn't want to fly out just for a meaningless friendly in Moldova. You know what I mean? Like, there's no point of me going there for no reason and flying out there, going into a hotel, training, then playing the game, then flying back the next day. Okay, fuck that. I'll just say I'm injured and I'll I'll just say I can't go, and that's what he meant by that. To be fair, in terms of playing well, I don't think the only reason why a manager wouldn't want a player to play well on the international stage is for the fear of them being bought by another team.
That's a fair point, actually, because you hear that a lot, don't you?
Yeah,
you see these players, well, not the superstars, because people already know who they are, but the other guys that are coming up through the ranks, as soon as they do well in international football, suddenly they're getting these massive offers, and they're just like,
exactly.
Don't tell everyone.
It's like you want to keep in the worst kept secret, isn't it? If you get a player that goes out. But at the end of the day, that's a player's nature. They're going to play. The one other thing that they used to do is be fearful of injuries. So imagine you've got an amazing player. He's playing phenomenally, and he's under your care. He's under your medical team's care, right? You fly him out to England, and the guy bloody, I don't know, breaks his ankle on international duty when you didn't need to. And it's a meanness friendly, or if it's a qualifying game, they could have done without him, and now he's out for the season. That affects your plans for your whole season. You know what I mean? There's always a risk of injury no matter what when you step on the pitch, but that's like something that's avoidable, basically sending your player out. So yeah, I think nowadays it's more of a case of if it's like a meaningless friendly, if it's like you could do without, the player would just like withdraw and say, "Oh, I'm injured." Yeah, and his manager will be like, "Oh, okay, just tell him you're injured. It's fine. It should be all right." But yeah, that's what he was alluding to. That's what we was alluding to.
But also, like, even on the fouls front now, the referees are more all over it. Like, there's a few controversial decisions in this tournament. Controversial or not, the referee instantly stopped it, didn't they? You know, high studs, high kicks, head stuff, just instant stop of the game, yellow cards, red cards, whatever it was. And I think that adds caution to the players going in a bit too heavy. Yeah, because they've been trying to sort of crack down on this for a little while, and every year they seem to introduce like rules to, make it is a contact sport after all, but it's sort of light contact, isn't it? Well, I think not quite bonus, light, upper body, argy-bargy, lower body, almost nothing. Yeah,
it can be. And I think people know they can't get away with anything now. You've got VAR, so you can't do a cheeky, punch into someone's ribs or pinch them in their back or an elbow into someone's cheek. Like, it won't go unnoticed anymore. Everything gets caught. So yeah, there is a real clamping down, and you might get the accidental stuff like Mbappe broke his nose because they went up for a header. You're always going to get like a chance of that happening, but yeah, that's how it is now.
Yep. So we look forward to the next. All right.
So yes, we'll do it if we'll be doing our pod then. Hopefully we can get on time.
We'll probably be releasing that one just before. Sorry, releasing this pod just before that World Cup.
That's right. There we go. Oh my word! But that is mine and Sai's recap of the Euros and why it didn't come home, unfortunately. So.
Well, mostly yours. I'm just along for the ride, to be honest.
Yeah, I know.
It's been interesting, though. I feel like I've learned something.
It's been good because I know typically, I think our listeners now know that Sai isn't really the biggest football fan, but like to see his enthusiasm for the England games, it's been brilliant. So I get a chance to speak to you about it. I think you learned quite a lot, to be fair, about the game, like how it's evolved and what's new and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I get addicted to things very easily. Unfortunately, not the bad stuff. I mean, I got super hooked on football. I didn't know half the players before the tournament started.
Of course, yeah.
So
exactly.
Now I'm right there with you. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It is,
I'll keep watching the podcast recommends, and next time I might be able to have a sensible conversation with you.
No worries. Look forward to it.
Yeah. I'll write some notes and everything. Oh, dear.
There you go. Right, so I heard you had a bit of an issue with your neighbour. Do you want to expand on that? Or?
Oh, not an issue with my neighbour, but do you know what? It really hacks me off.
That's what it should be doing, do you know what I mean?
Hey, oh dear. No, I meant to say to you, right? So, my neighbour's got a big bush.
Oh! Whoa!
I just thought I'd let that one sit. No, but honestly, yeah, exactly. So so he's got a big hedge and it's sort of growing over our fence. Now,
okay.
Normally it wouldn't, like if it was out the back, like we've only got a smallish garden. If it was out the back, I wouldn't care because you've got the big 6-foot fences and it would be overhanging. It wouldn't really bother me. It's not using up garden space and I'm not that precious about the garden. But this is out the front, right? And it's growing over into our driveways, which means that I have to pull the car over a bit further, or when somebody gets in the passenger side on the hot days, you get covered in all the pollen and all that stuff. On the damp days, you get covered in water and stuff. And also, you're parking a little bit further closer to the house, so I have to squeeze out the car door. first world problems, you know how it is. But what I'm getting
100%.
to is this. I knocked on his door a little while back and said, mate, is it, I get on with the guy, it's not like I'm, I'm a fairly friendly guy. Oh, can you do something about your about your bush?
Yeah, exactly.
and he was like, yeah, I'll get to it. Don't you worry, I'll get to it. Month rolls by. Can you do something about the bush? Yeah, I got someone coming around to do it, right? And all the while, this thing's getting more wild and over the top, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So this weekend, I'm going to go out there and cut the thing back myself. Now, I've got enough things to do in my own place. My house has fallen to pieces. There's always something to do with this house. For anybody that doesn't own a home, as soon as you buy one, that's it. People say it's a money pit. It literally is. But obviously you have to pay your mortgage, your rent, whatever it is, all the bills and everything else. But it's all the hidden costs, like, all the maintenance you have to do on it, all the decorating. Unless you got a lot of money, you'd end up doing it yourself. It's a lot up.
There's always something to do, right? Or something's going to go wrong. There's always
100%,
something that needs to be done.
100%, right? So you don't need your neighbours creating more work for you. You work full time. So when I have my weekends, I want to do nothing. But no, this weekend, I have to go down, bloody cut this bush down. And I'm just like, it's just extra work for me.
Yeah,
and the last time I did it, right, I got a bit annoyed because it happened last year as well. And I threw all the trimmings on his side of the fence.
That's fine.
Because
I think that's fine. Fair enough.
Right, agreed. Because otherwise I've got to dump it, right?
Yeah.
And he comes round and starts having a bit of a pop at me. Oh, you just thrown all your garden waste in my garden. No, mate, I thrown your garden waste in your garden.
Your garden. Yeah, of course. 100%. You're absolutely in the right there, mate. Yeah.
And he goes, no, let's go and have a look. Right, so we went round there and had a look. And he went, oh, no, yeah, you are right. That's off my tree, isn't it? He was good about it.
Oh, fair enough.
It wasn't an argument or anything like that, but I just had to be like a little bit problem? Like, come on, mate, you're having a laugh. Yeah. I'm doing 50% of your job for you, and you're still complaining. So that's what I'm doing this weekend in the 50-degree heat. So anybody out there that's growing trees or anything else over other people's gardens, just be mindful. Just be a bit mindful, Just when your neighbour knocks round, okay, maybe you don't do it the first time, but maybe the second time, just think, maybe just do something about it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've got a very, very similar problem, except the main culprit is my own dad.
Nope.
So, and he's not being a menace to our neighbours at all. He's being a menace to us. So let me explain. My dad's retired now, right? So he loves his gardening, loves planting flowers, loves all that kind of stuff.
Isn't that a funny thing? Right. Sorry, just to jump in on that. Isn't it funny? Right? Because I don't want to stereotype, but typically, men through their sort of younger and middle age aren't really into gardens and stuff.
No.
But as I'm getting older, I'm feeling like I have more of an appreciation. Like I'm starting to get to that thing now. Like it didn't bother me before, but I'm starting to get to that thing now where like the kids are tearing up the garden, playing football and cycling around and stuff. Before I wouldn't have cared. Ever so recently, I'm like, they're tearing up the garden. Like, I've started to notice it. Maybe there's a little switch.
100% a dad thing. 100% a dad thing. Yeah, I think there's something about having a garden to be proud of. Like, it's a man thing. I'm pretty sure it's like a dad thing. My dad used to do a bit of gardening on the weekends, like 1 hour. You know what I mean? Just basically clean up a little bit, any bit of rubbish, sort that out, plant some new flowers when it's seasonal. Yeah. Really take pride in it, but now it's like everyday thing. So he'll wake up in the morning, first thing he does is water his plants, put in the plant seed, like feed and all that kind of
Brilliant.
Stuff. Loves it, mate. It only takes like half an hour of his day. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
So what he started doing is our garden looks lovely flowers. Our front garden now, this is where the problem is, and this is where it fucking pisses me off. I suffer from hay fever, so I got my excuse why I don't do any gardening, right? So it's all on my dad. Yep. And my dad, so he's planted some lovely flowers in the front. Now we've only got like a foot's worth of space on the side of our garden for him to plant his plants, and the rest of it is bricked up, so we can put our 2 cars in. Right, we've got 3 cars, but 2 of them go in the driveway. Yep. Now what happens is the plants look amazing when they're first planted, but then they grow really rapidly quick, especially when my dad's like bloody, I don't know, feeding steroids to these plants or something, right? And then they're grown, and then they grow out of where they're meant to be in the flower bed. Yep. So now they're overlapping big time. So where they should be only a foot like long, now they're like 2.5, 3 feet long. So what happens is we tend to, when we're trying to park our cars, we have to kind of like, give it a bit of space so that, we can get out, the door doesn't hit the plants and all that kind of stuff. which obviously means that we're moving a bit towards the left-hand side, which means that we're parking a bit too close to each other's cars now. So when we get out of the car, we might, bloody ding our own cars.
Yeah.
Or the other car might hit the brick wall on the other side because we can't get out the damn car. Yep. So what we started doing as a collective, me, my sister and my wife, is not giving a fuck and just driving over the flowers now. We are literally just like cutting the flowers up, and it's terrible. But if my dad doesn't learn, I keep telling my dad, please cut these flowers down to size so that it doesn't affect the car. Because the last thing you want is like driving up against the plants as well, and when someone hits the door, it knocks all the plants off and kills the plants. That's the last thing we want. But recently, when it's pissing down with rain and we're trying to get into our house, the last thing we want to do is like carefully get out the car. Just want to flip and whack the door open, get out, and just run in. Do you know what I mean? So now it's the case. I've just hit the bloody plants. It's fine.
So has he not noticed these plants with like a tyre track down the middle yet, or is he?
No, not yet. I would be quite tactful with it. So yeah, not yet, mate. So yeah.
So one day when all the cars are out of your driveway, he's just going to see like all these plants are just like crushed into the driveway. maybe after that happens, you just turn the plant pot round a bit so all the dead ones are at the back.
Yeah, no, these are planted to the ground. That's the thing.
Oh,
as well.
right. So they're not in like beds. They're in proper beds.
They're in proper beds in the soil. So it's a case someone can't even do that. Once they're dead, mate. You know what I mean? Like, oh my god. But yeah, so the culprit in our house is my dad, not my neighbours. My neighbours are all good. I don't care about that kind of stuff.
So you're gonna have to start getting your excuses in now. I didn't see him. It was the missus.
No, we'll just say, look, Dad, we told you, we gave you fair warning, cut them down or lose them. It's up to you.
I like the losing part. It wasn't just losing though; it was being driven over by a car. It's like it got extremes.
Being dragged. Yeah.
It wasn't just tying back to the fence or no, we just drive over them. It's so good.
Because the worst thing is obviously when it rains as well, like and you park a bit too close to the flowers, right? You open the door and then you got to step out. Now all the water that's collected up on the plants falls straight onto your shoes, on your jeans, on your trousers.
Yep.
And that's the last thing you want, right? You're trying to avoid being wet, so. Bloody hell, man! It really takes a piss.
And in the summer as well, like when all the bugs and stuff are in the trees. Yeah. So like, this is what I was saying about my neighbour at the moment. So when I get it's on the passenger side. So when anyone gets in the passenger side, they get in the car and they're like covered in bits of animal, bits of trees.
Yes. Yeah. No, exactly.
I haven't gone anywhere yet.
Yeah, you got to carry like a spider in with you, or like some ants and stuff with you, isn't it? Like it's just like and a bit of like I don't know pollen. That's the worst thing. That'll kill me. Do you know what I mean? With my hay fever. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Blocked nose, itchy throat, like it's like red eyes. It's the worst. Absolute worst.
The thing is, right, I don't even mind at spiders. Like if I see one, it's not a problem. But when they just drop down out of nowhere, I get the
God,
so like if I know it's there, I can easily like even the big ones, I can pick it up with my hand off the carpet, throw it outside, and not bothered by it at all. Yeah. But if I'm just sitting there and then like something's crawling up my arm, even if it's like one of those little penny spider things, I'm just like run away.
Do you know what the worst feeling in the world is? Sorry, walking into a spider web.
Oh, yeah, cross your face.
That is the worst feeling in the world, man. I've done that so many times. So what it is, especially at night time when you're walking around, obviously, if you're walking under a tree, if you're walking like, for us, it seems to be our clothing line for some reason. The spiders love going on there, making a little spider web. So when we're trying to walk in or walk out the garden, poof, you hit this thing and you can feel it on your face like instantly. And you're thinking, oh my God, on that spider web, was there a spider? Now, is that spider in my hair? Is it somewhere like, then you start feeling itchy. Yeah. Like the whole thing just follows on, right? And you're trying to rub this off and you're not sure like the spider web's off you. Oh, it's just, that is one of the worst feelings in the world. Walking into a spider web, face first.
Yeah, you don't need it, do you? You don't need it. It's not a great way to start the day.
No, or finish the day. God.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Speaking of which, of bad days, did you see what happened to Donald Trump?
I did. Shocker, hey? Isn't that a shocker?
Absolutely crazy. An assassination attempt on Donald Trump happened last week. He was, I think he was in Philadelphia, wasn't he?
I don't know. I just saw it pop up and I'm just like, what a state of affairs where we are.
Yeah. So for people listening to the podcast, Donald Trump was, he's in running to become the next president of the United States. Was doing one of those public kind of rallies and someone fucking shot at him and tried to kill him, which is absolutely batshit crazy. Like, I never thought we'd see an assassination of such a high public figure in our time. I knew it happened back in the day with JFK and stuff like that, but bloody hell, just grazed his ear. Do you know what makes me really sad, actually? And on a slightly more sensible note than we usually are, it's like, how have we got to the point where people think
in the civilized world that an assassination attempt is the right way to go. Now, I get you completely don't like somebody. I get that their politics are completely polarizing or opposite to what you think.
Yeah.
But attempted murder is not the way forward at all. And there's a couple of sad things that come out of this. Is the one that I think somebody actually died in the crowd, didn't they? I think the bullet went straight.
Bystander, yeah, got killed. Yeah,
right, which is shocking. And I don't think that has been publicised as much, which is actually a little bit naughty. The other one is like jokes are jokes at the end of the day, and you can joke about anything, right? So. You know, the whole Ricky Gervais thing, like no joke should be off limit. And I agree with that. If there's a run up to it, you can make a joke about anything. And if it is a joke, it's no problem. Like there's people making a few jokes about, what should have happened, what shouldn't have happened. And if it's from the right place, it doesn't really matter. But what I did see is a lot of people popping up, like a lot of celebrities anyway, just saying, with no context, like no run up, not in a joke format, nothing, just saying somebody needs to try harder next time.
Oh,
right?
That's bad.
And I'm just like, how is this? Bad. And it's just encouraging it. So we should be saying this is awful. Should be a deterrent in place. Look, and you've got celebrities popping up saying, no, they need to try harder. And that's the bit that I don't like. If like I say, in a joke format, no problem. I'm repeating myself a little bit, but just to be clear, if it's part of a run up to a joke, there's a lot of comedians out there that make jokes about taboo subjects, and this would be one of those, and I can't see any harm in it if there's a little run up, a little build up to it, a little bit of banter between two, whatever it is. There's no problem because there's context to it. But to just on a little Twitter feed you're talking about something irrelevant, and then your next tweet is the next person don't miss. Like,
do you know what?
That is mental.
It's sad to think, right? Like, I agree with Gervais. Everything can be a joke as long as it's like done in the proper manner. But with this one, it's more of a case of like, it's almost like they're just doing it just for social media engagement, just to build up the numbers. Yeah. If they're like a B, C, D list celebrity, and they know, the agents probably say, say something about Trump, and then they'll come up with, like, just use that example. The next time they better not miss. Most of the time, it's literally just for engagement, just for numbers, just to bring their reputation up a little bit. Like they're saying, all publicity is good. Even bad publicity is good publicity. So that's quite terrible. But yeah, that was a real thing. It was genuinely, like, I remember watching TV when the news broke, and I was like, this is crazy. But the stupidest thing is, that's won in the election, mate. You know what I mean? Yep. Have you seen his defiance? As soon as he got shot, he's up in the air, fist up, saying fight. That's he's won in the election. If the election was split, if it was going like a real 50-50 which way it could go, that guy, no matter how much he hated Trump, has sealed Trump's win. Yep. I know. Absolute opposite effect. Oh my god, that's terrible. I know. Speaking of bad days, I know Biden had a bad day the other day. He was meeting.
Let's move this to a slightly more interesting and fun conversation. Oh my god, this was my favourite story of this whole week.
Oh my god, Biden. I don't look. This pod is not meant to be political in any sort of way, right? But we can speak about these things because it's fucking hilarious. Biden. He's losing the plot, isn't he? Like, he's literally become...
Well, let's just throw all right, let's just explain what happened first. So, he was on stage doing his usual... For anyone that hasn't seen it, he was on stage doing his spiel about something or other. I don't know, just whatever he does these days.
Whatever he mumbles through.
Yeah, exactly. Got to the end of the conversation, didn't he? Meant to introduce Zelensky, the leader of Ukraine. Yep. And accidentally introduced him as Putin. Right? His arch nemesis. The baddies, according to the Americans and most of the West. Right?
The guy that is literally taking over this guy's country with a war.
Exactly. Then he calls him the wrong name. Now, in this one instance, I don't know how he did it, but he did manage to catch himself and correct himself, didn't it?
Yeah.
The problem is, the amount of fumbles that Biden has done in the past with getting stuff wrong, just going off on tangents, forgetting people's names, walking off stage the wrong way. This is just another one. Like, what is he doing?
I'm not sure, mate. Honestly, you know what it really reminds me of? Do you know Leslie Nielsen, the actor?
Oh, yes.
Right. So he is one of my favourite actors of all time, right? I think I've said this on the pod before. He's like an unintentional real life version of Leslie Nielsen. Yeah. Because he's doing everything that Leslie Nielsen would do if he was playing Biden.
He was playing that
in
role.
a movie. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely incredible. Like, that is a skill in itself. But yeah, just like look, he's losing the plot. He's basically he's mumbling over his words. He's jumbling everything up, and then he's trying to introduce Zelensky, and he's called him Putin, and then luckily, like you said, he realised what he'd done. He said, "Oh no, that's the guy he's trying to beat. He's trying to beat Putin." I was like, "Oh no, Joe, what are you doing, mate?"
Yeah.
Nah, this is it's hilarious. And then the good thing is, I suppose Zelensky he had a bit of laugh about it, and I think he took it in good jest, and he just said, "No, I'm better than him. Like, I'm better than Putin." But mate, that's a monumental fail. No, that is crazy.
Oh, I don't know. The world's gone mad, mate. It really has. It really has. And I mean, imagine that, like one after the other. You got an assassination attempt, and then you got the Joe Biden thing. It's just I know we're poking a little bit of fun at like the American politics, but the UK politics is just as bad. We've got the corruption, we have got the ridiculousness, we have got the backstabbers, we've got the double standards. We've just, we've got all of that going. Just not quite on such a grand scale, but we've got the same thing, and you're just like, what's going on? And these are supposed to be,
I was going to say, I think us British are probably a little bit too polite to assassinate. So, so much. The worst thing we do is go on social media and call them an idiot. But it's just, it's just absolutely crazy, mate. It's just absolutely crazy.
But that's what you should do, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Is you should go online and you should express your point of view, which is like
this
guy is a complete donut, and then lay out your 10 points as to why they're a donut. Yeah. It blows my mind. It really does, because you do hear a lot of rhetoric about things are terrible in China, things are terrible in Russia. And obviously, we aren't there. Right,
we don't know.
We're definitely not there. But what I'm saying is
the picture that's being portrayed to us, right? We don't know exactly what it's about. We don't know what it's like there, but that is a picture that's put on the Western world. That's what's portrayed to us.
Exactly right. So everyone's comparing like the Western world to, like I say, these other countries, and saying that people get assassinated, people disappear, blah blah blah, whatever it happens to be, right? But if this is going on in the US, we're slowly moving in that direction.
It's the opposite of what everyone thinks. Everyone wants. Do you know what I mean? That is crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
I mean, this now it has to come down to you can't tar everybody. Let's just be very clear. This is one lunatic.
Yeah.
However, this guy is also being encouraged.
That's right. Yeah, we'll just keep it. What it is. What it is. It's absolutely crazy. But I just thought, that was probably the highlight of the week. Biden going a bit mad on the on the old presser, introducing Zelensky as Putin.
But he's had a run of it, hasn't he? He's he's fallen upstairs, which is this talent in itself.
Mad.
He's walked the wrong way off a stage before, which is it's a thing. And like I say, in themselves, they're not a problem. But it's just every single time you see him in public, just something wild happens.
He's at one thing going wrong, an event at the moment. It's literally one a week. I think he's getting involved in doing something wrong once a week now, which is a bit too much for a president. Do
you know? A few episodes back, we were talking about what was it, Celebrity Bake Off, in that I wanted wild cards in there, right? Now, if he wasn't the president of the USA, I would want him on a Bake Off show because he's my wild card.
100%.
I want him in there, just right. Here's some stuff. Bake whatever you want. We're just going to film it. Just watch the carnage ensue.
He would be absolutely crazy. Yeah, he would be putting the microwave into the oven. Like, you know what I mean? He would be. My God, like he'd be absolute maniac. Like, he'd be probably trying to bake water. Do you know what I mean? Like that type of person. Putting icing inside the cake.
Might have invented something there.
There we go. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, brilliant. And that's a wrap for episode 16 of the JTS. JTS? Yeah, JTS. Yeah, bloody hell. Do you always say something too much? You can keep this in, by the way. It's a great outro. This is.
Do you know what the funny thing? Do you know what the funny thing is? I was saying it's hot, and I'm surprised we've got through this because I'm mouting, and I can see it's getting to you. I can't pronounce my words properly. I've been slipping up all the way through.
And it's 3 letters. That is. Fucking hell.
We were just having a dig at Joe Biden.
Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? That's right, because we're speaking about Biden. Now we're like embracing it in Biden's like weirdness. Yeah, 100%. So, thank you guys for listening to episode 16 of the JTS 51 podcast. I've been JT, and my co-host, as always, President Putin.
I'm better than Putin.
Brilliant.
You suck, pal.
Yeah, there we go.
But no, thank you very much, everybody. We'll catch you next time. Take care, and hopefully we'll put something proper together next time.
Sorry for this one. But tune in again next week. It'll be much better. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the JTS 51 podcast. For more epic content, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future episodes.